Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle, Desrochers, and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 and 107.7 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have had faith in us since day one and continue to have faith in us. And our journey together continues, hopefully for years to come. Thank you, Folgers. It would not be the same without you. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for our regular intro that you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And of course, 'tis the season, so check him out. He's got all kinds of new stuff coming out. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the Outer Realm. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre. And you want to see realistic artwork, you definitely have to check him out. Of course, I am waiting for Amelia. So she pops in, she's popping out. She's got a little bit of a tech issue. So we'll just wait her out. Of course, we opened up with the promo for October 31st, which is the United Public Radio host Halloween party from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little bit later, waiting to see how that goes. And it's going to be pretty much an open panel. We're going to discuss all kinds of things. We're going to have a lot of fun. We try to do this once a year, and we try to do it again at Christmas and New Year's. So, you have to tune in to see what's going on and just join in all the fun. You will also notice tonight, guys, we are not on Facebook. So lots of problems getting the show set up. It's having hiccups with the soundboard. And of course, we are not on Facebook. They are working on it. Facebook has been notified. Anything that we had to put onto the board today is absolutely having issues. Anything that we put on over the past week should go live. So tomorrow night we should go live. Tonight, on the other hand, you have to come over to YouTube. So I'm guessing, Amelia, are you ready? I see you in there. Just nod. Yeah. Okay. Well, here we go. All right.
Better? Yay. Yes, I restarted the computer. How do I sound?
Perfect.
Okay, good.
All kinds of people chiming in. We've got Dolly. Hello. Wayne.
Dolly. Hello.
I know.
Hello, Mike.
Son.
Hello, Chris. Hello,
Chris. Mike. Holy crud. Mike, how are you?
I'm going to get myself one of those romper room mirrors, and I see Chris and Wayne and Dolly. And
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad you got it all sorted out.
Oh my goodness.
So of course, we were having issues again with I was explaining how we're having issues with Facebook. So please, everybody, get on over to the Facebook page. All right, let's get scary. We'll get scary next Tuesday night. Make sure you're there, darling. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
I think so. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We try to do this every year. We have so much fun when we do it. It's very open, like it's an open mic. Again, it's just a panel. Everybody talks and shares stories, etc. So we thought, it'll be a lot of fun. And tonight we're going to pretty much do the same idea. Of course, our guest Bill Bean couldn't make it, and he's just recovering from COVID and had another engagement. So we thought, we're not going to change much of what we were going to discuss anyway. And I also went into the Wayback Machine and got some pictures that we will share. And yeah, people send me things all the time. And a couple of these are personal pictures. Some of them are, picture or two from the manor. And then we've got a whole bunch of other things that have just come in. So we thought we would have a lot of fun with that. So, if you guys have pictures, Jess might want to come in and let me get to the banner, send it here. theouterrealmcontact@gmail.com, and the email will come up. I can download it. I can put it on, and it'll give you an opportunity to maybe talk about your photo. So I'll leave that up for a few minutes. So it is the season. Bubbles and I have given this some thought, and we talk because we work together, on other levels too, not just here on the show. And I have found for years, one of the biggest questions I've been asked, and she and I have jammed about this, of course, is why do things seem to get busier this time of the year? And I mean, busier with respects to, getting more calls, getting more emails. We just seem to have more work to do. And
understatement.
And my favorite word is always mindset. And we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the month, and we did this the last time. But when I say mindset, as I think we open ourselves up more, and not normally, the rest of the year, people just want to avoid this sort of stuff for the most part. But this time of the year, people want the experience. They'll go on haunted tours. They'll go stay at haunted locations. They might go on on investigations, public investigations that are being offered. Watch a few more horror movies than they normally would, which you would think wouldn't be that much of an issue, but maybe it is because we choose to open ourselves up more at this time of the year.
And it's everywhere. I mean, you go grocery shopping and you see Halloween. You go to the gas station, you'll see Halloween chocolate, even at the gas station. I mean, come on, like it's everywhere. And I loved yesterday when I took the little fur ball over to get groomed. On the way there, I saw a lot of really cool houses. Shout out to Highland Road in Stony Creek. I am just so impressed with the ones that were decorated to the nines. They were really well done. And I used to bring my daughter there when she was little, because we don't get any kids out here because we're in the country. And my husband's cousin lived there. And I would bring chocolates to his house to give away because I didn't want to just take. And we would go out with the kids. And, I remember that. And I remember doing it with friends' places too. And I'm just so impressed. And I think when you're driving and you see this and the leaves are changed, it becomes almost like a Hollywood set feel. You start, again, like you said, the mindset. And there's more horror films on. They make it a point of the entire month having a few nights a week playing these horror and slasher are not horror films. Okay, just gonna put that out there because I hate when someone says to me the slasher movie. No, those aren't horrors unless they're zombies. But you know what I mean? Like, unless it's like Friday the 13th. Saw is not a horror film. That's a slasher film.
But the franchise follows me on Twitter. So I am like all about them.
No, I love the Saw. I love
They've been
all
following
of it.
me for years since the first movie.
Psychological thrillers, classic narcissistic psychopaths and sociopaths.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Yeah.
I enjoyed, I didn't like the gore, of course, but I enjoyed the psychological thrill of that series was bar none. And you sit there and you try and wonder how somebody goes about writing something like that. It's kind of, like trying to get into Stephen King's brain. But I think a lot of that, has a lot to do with it.
Right.
I don't know about the veil thing because, like I said, I grew up thinking it was Christmas. But
it is. That's part of folklore. Everybody seems to think that this is a time of the year when the veil is thinnest. If you start getting really digging into ancient cultures and, people, like, especially the Druids and the pagans, people who really follow the solstices, Christmas was actually the time of year where the veil is supposed to be the thinnest. And there's all kinds of stories
Yeah.
around that surround, the solstices, or what we would even consider, around Christmas time.
Yeah.
They just have different names for it. It wasn't Christmas, but they would always prepare seats at the table in celebration. They would have gifts for their loved ones who have passed on, and they would take precautions, um, in fear of spirits coming in around that time of year. So, I mean, you get even to the Victorians, and we're going to talk about that as we get closer to Christmas, but how they loved telling ghost stories at Christmas, how they love giving really macabre type cards, but that's a different show. So right now we are like mindset this time of year. What is it about Halloween that makes people, and I mean, I've always loved Halloween, so I'm going to lump myself
Well,
right in that group.
yeah. And then it leads right into the Day of the Dead.
Of
So,
course. Exactly. So, and there's a whole bunch of other traditions with that. So,
mhm.
what is it? What makes us all want to? I mean, people, if you want an experience, you probably want it year round. But this is a time of year where you can do it as with like thousands of your closest friends. you know, you can go to, like I said, large events. Like I used to be, October for me used to be a total blur, a complete blur. I was so busy running events, doing tours, speaking engagements. I didn't do any research investigations at all, filming, everything. Everything was in October. And it just got ridiculously crazy. And then when I, semi-retired out of it, it's like, wow, this is what it's like to really enjoy Halloween. But Halloween night, after a tour, for the most time, I would try to make that just, my time. And
Mhm.
eventually I started taking Halloween night off altogether. Right.
I think you need to as well, just for your own sanity when you're in this field. For me, October was never a busy month because I didn't do any of this until I met you. It was always summer with missing kids. It was a lot of summer campgrounds, things like that. But when I met you, our first October together was, I can't even remember the
Right.
month. I can't remember what we did, where we went,
Right.
what, like, I don't remember any of it. I don't remember anyone we helped. I know we helped a lot of people. I just remember the first October, that first year, for some reason, and it's probably because the film was out, the Ouija board was constantly being used that year. It was topic of conversation on every podcast, not the film, but the fact that people were using it so
Right.
much.
Right.
But we're going back to 2018, 2019. So things have
Yeah.
changed since then.
Yeah. I know. Well,
You don't
yeah.
need a Ouija board anymore.
You don't. There's many, many ways, obviously, of making, invitations. For sure there is. A Ouija board is just, you know, one factor. But I mean, one thing I've learned through dealing with people through many years is that there are many ways of creating invitations and bringing, spirits into your home.
Mhm.
Um, okay, Bart, you want
Yeah,
to get
I
that one?
love this part. Maybe people are fascinated with the other side, and there is a matrix of consciousness that attracts it. Just the fascination with darkness.
Hmm, you're not
Good
wrong.
point. Good
You're
point.
not wrong. Maybe people feel, you know what? Maybe people feel as though because of this fascination, and it feels safer exploring it because you can go to, on a haunted tour, or you can go spend the night at a haunted place or go to a haunted event, and there'll be other people there of like mind waiting to have or share the same experience. So you're not really experiencing it alone. Like the whole safety in numbers thing, because I don't know. To me, it's always been like my holiday, always. So I've always enjoyed Halloween to the fullest, but mind you, I have those same interests year round as well. Here's one, Dolly. Thank you, Dolly.
Hi, Dolly.
Anyone
As
sing?
Dolly says, as the planet is moving into winter position, magnetic effects about dimensional space is more accessible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
winter solstice. It's
Like
got to be one
dimensional
of my
space,
favorite.
dimensional bleed throughs.
It's got to be one of my
Same.
favorite days.
I
You know
know.
where I would love to spend a winter solstice just once would be like in the Arctics or Iceland. I would love to just be out there
Right.
when it hits
Right.
and
Why?
in silence
What's your
with
reasoning?
nothing and no one around.
Right.
Just to absorb the energy. I don't know. It draws me. It's something I would like to do. A lot of people, they hate the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that love the winter, it's usually because they like to sit in front of a fireplace and watch it from the inside out. I love sitting outside in the dark, in the cold. I don't know why.
I've done it. I've watched meteor showers. Growing up north, I used to watch all the northern lights flashing across the sky. I mean, yeah, I didn't love winter per se because it got very cold up there. But I really did love the experience of the night sky without the interference from a big city.
Yeah, but that's what a parka is for.
It's a parka.
And now you can get the warming vests that go underneath and you charge them and you just turn them on. There's so many ways that you can see it. And I just would love to do it, but literally by myself.
Right.
It's just something that I find extremely intriguing. I don't know.
I think it has to do
I'm a
with
little bit
energy
weirdo.
location as well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of weirdo.
Here's a good comment.
Hi, Chris.
Chris
says Ouija boards are not evil. It's just another tool. How you use the tool defines if it's evil or not.
100%. What I don't agree, I mean, again, it comes down to mindset, right? It's a matter of the intention, opening up for communication. What I just don't like about them on average is children have access to them, and children don't necessarily, they're not versed on the fact that it is just another tool. They don't know how to use that intention. Their intention is, oh, this is fun, this is spooky, this is a game. They don't necessarily know any better. And the only reason I say that is because I've worked with many children over the last 20 years, and I cannot tell you how many times they're the ones that get targeted
Excuse me.
because they don't know any better, and they're the most vulnerable. So they're not going to fight back.
And that's where their invitations are made. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times it's happened. So yes, I agree. It's another tool. We've talked about that. I mean, you can use a phone app, you can use a ghost box, a pendulum, a voice recorder. If you are initiating contact, you are initiating contact. There are many different ways to do that. Heck, just putting it out there will could potentially do the same thing, like even telepathically. You don't even have to come out and say, hey.
I have a different opinion.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You know how I feel about them.
I know. Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't like them because anyone who uses them, and there's maybe two people in the industry, one that I did interview who is incredibly good at it, and she's very successful, and there's a lot that goes with it that no one's doing. The preparation going in, the protection, and the closing. I watched a live, we had him on the show, the Ouija board, where they did it on a particular paranormal show. And when this thing responded and it went flying, the planchette went flying, they all ran out of the room. Guess what? Your door's open. So just like you have to really know what you're doing, no matter what you're using. I don't agree with any communication. Yeah, I don't believe in any communication. That's my opinion, because I'm on the other side of everyone getting themselves into trouble, and that's all I see, unfortunately. I don't see the good that comes out of it. And in my entire life, I've only known one person who
Mhm.
truly, truly, truly
Right.
does it well. And even with her, we even butt heads on the show because
Right.
I don't think it should be, even if you're doing well, I don't think it's something you should be promoting because kids do watch these shows. And if you speak to Bishop James Long, oof, it's a whole other, he has a whole
It's
other
happening.
opinion on it because mostly low level and energy will go through that type of communication, Ouija boards, and
If it needs help
and
coming through, you
recording.
may not necessarily want to be
Thank you.
communicating with it,
That's what I
right?
was trying to say. I'm so out of it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
3
okay.
espressos and I'm like,
I think too, with mindset, it brings me back to that, um, that experience that I had when we were at, I think it was Scarefest or something like that. And there was a father and a young child who came to me. They were sent over to me by somebody else there. And apparently this young girl who was probably about 10, I'll take a guess, she could have been a bit younger actually. And dad worked a lot. He was away a lot and wanted his daughter to have everything when she came to stay with him, right? So he didn't begrudge it. And he didn't really know much about any of this. You know, you watch TV, you want to emulate. Okay. He bought her a lot of paranormal equipment that she had seen on television.
mm,
And they came to me because he said, well, you know, she has a big interest in the paranormal. She wanted to meet you. Um, you know, she has her own equipment, she does stuff, and you know, we've got footsteps in the house and doors opening and closing. I don't really think much about it. And you know,
I
he
still
did.
can't get past this one.
I know he didn't really think it was anything very serious. So I sat there a little bit gobsmacked and went, well, that's not good if this has never happened to you before and now your child is pretty much invoking things, communicating and giving carte blanche. You know, there's no skill set in there. Like there's no way of knowing what to
That's,
where your boundaries are. Like she's not
yeah,
old enough to
no.
create boundaries or to know what she's really communicating with. He goes, oh, because she's a smart girl. She's not, you know, there's nothing malevolent in the house. And I'm just sitting there going, well, if you ever need help, you know, "Oh, no worries. We'll seek you out." I don't know whatever happened to those people, but I'd be a bit concerned if my 8 to 10-year-old child was out doing communications in the house and just, you know. So is it, I guess the point I'm trying to go with here is, do you think parents are they too laid back, or do you think
I
they just I mean, life is busy. I get you can't indulge everything and learn about everything, but I mean,
I'm
I don't
gonna
think you should.
genderize this, and I don't care if you email me. I really don't care. I find men are more laid back about this, and you know what I mean. Like you find that a lot more with people who don't understand paranormal. Where women are much more intuitive. Just they're the mothers, they're the nurturers. I'm not saying anything about gender, please. I'm just saying that you will see this in common, where
Mhm,
more often. Sorry, where you'll see women know a lot more about the paranormal than men do when you're putting the groups together.
mhm,
You really don't see. There's a lot more female mediums out there than there are males.
mhm.
That's just it. And I think a lot of it has to do with them not being able to come out per se with their gifts because they might not be taken as masculine or crazy or whatever. It's a little bit harder, you
Hey,
know.
Preston.
Yeah, I will get that.
Thank you for this comment. Yeah.
Preston Denna, hello, Preston. I miss you. I've investigated at least 3 cases where kids use Ouija boards and ending up with a bad haunting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
true.
problem. I really
Yeah.
have never seen anything good come out of it, but you can get the Ouija board app on your phone. You don't even need the game board
I
anymore.
know
You
this young
can,
girl I was just talking about had one.
yeah, and you can turn a phone upside down. I've seen homemade ones. I've seen the carpets, which I think are insanity.
Yeah, you don't need to buy anything really. I mean, you can go ahead and, you know, Hi, Roger.
Hi, Roger. How are you?
We love him too, Chris.
Yeah, we
Yes,
love
he is.
Preston and Dolly. What freaks me out the most is the shoes. When people wear the shoes with the Ouija board on them, I'm like, you're a walking planchette.
I don't know. You think? I don't know.
I think it's funny. I
Tap
think,
dancing around in them, maybe.
yeah. I
But
think my biggest thing here, because I'm like all over the place. I apologize. I think my biggest thing here is I watched my friends use a Ouija board when I was 9 years old at a party. I've talked the story many times before, so I'm not going to repeat it. Just to tell you that that frightening feeling I had when I saw that shadow stays with me today.
right.
And we're talking over 40 years later.
Right.
So that's
Right.
probably why I'm so close-minded about anything to do with the Ouija board. I really feel like whatever communication you're going to do, you need to have someone there who knows and can see what's coming.
You say that. I have to tell you, I have seen some really seasoned mediums get channeled, get tricked into thinking they were communicating with something else.
Yeah.
So,
That happened to me with automatic writing. Sorry.
well, yeah, and with that being said, um, I mean, it doesn't seem to matter how seasoned you are. Because I think everybody can have a bad day. Everybody can have their guard down. Everybody can be overconfident. It can happen to anyone.
Absolutely.
There's always something out there that has a capability, of finding its way in. And if it doesn't do it right away, it can do it in many other ways. I have to say, in doing tours and events for so many years, I remember one time getting a call from this woman, because a long time ago I had a phone number on a website. I know.
Mhm.
I know. It's just like, anyway. So I remember getting a call, and she said, some woman said, she goes, does the name, I don't even remember what it was because it was so long ago, mean anything to you? And I'm like, maybe. Enlighten me.
Oh,
She turned out she was on one of the tours, and I remembered her, after she enlightened me to the situation and the area we were in. And this woman was like this, just taking in all this energy. Now, there wasn't anything malevolent on the tour, but she caught the
luckily.
attention of a young spirit child. And the spirit child followed her home. And she goes, she kept me up all night. I woke up, she was hovering over me and blah, 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 blah. And all I remember saying is, says, what's your address? I'll be right over. She goes, come and get your spirit. I'm going, it's not my spirit. And I'm not the one that was all, like, it just shows you there's just, maybe something about you that any spirit or entity could find enticing about you. And it's not always a malevolent, but it doesn't mean you want a house guest, even if it is a
No,
benign one.
when you start losing time, it's scary. You have to be very careful. I agree with you 100% about no one is perfect. I just feel like if someone can guide you through the opening and closing of it,
Right.
you're a lot safer. Not necessarily safe, just a little bit safer than you would be without it. Now, I like Bishop James when he says the Ouija board is a written invitation.
Right.
Because people who are using them are not using them to get in touch with past loved ones. They're always.
Some are.
I know, but
Some
mostly.
really believe that there are different avenues of doing so. The problem is a lot of lower lying entities really do want, to come and get that attention. So
Yeah,
it's very possible
it's easier for
that
them.
that's what you're getting most of the time. Let's face it. They can mimic any voice. They can mimic any appearance, any behavior, any odor. Well,
They know
odors are
everything.
tough. Odors are tough ones from what I've been told. But I mean, I always have to caution people. Even when my mom passed, was very, very cautious because I always say I know better. And even though I knew just in my being. I knew with what my heart told me, what my mind's eye told me, like, no, I know this is my mother. But I'm so conditioned to knowing that things do come in and take advantage of the grieving who so desperately want to make communication. Much like at Halloween, people go out for that experience and they so desperately want it, that you end up having, who knows? So this is actually pretty funny,
I
Mike.
think it's hilarious. Mike Gomez says, I've told my family no ghosts allowed unless they help pay the mortgage. I'm with you.
They never did at the manor.
Yeah.
So,
But it was
don't-
theirs first. That's a little bit
It's true, they were
different. It
there
was theirs
first.
first.
Hey,
They were there before
we
you.
didn't pay the mortgage.
Yeah,
So,
they were there before you.
we were
But
good roomies. We paid the bills.
yeah, exactly. You took care of them. And Dolly says there is a young girl who has followed me. She showed me how she died. This happened 2 days ago. I'm working on helping her.
Aw. See, right there, this is a perfect example. Do you think this is the time of year where it's just easier for them to come in and out? Right? I don't know. Like, do you find that I find that I think maybe a mind I think it's a complete mindset thing, but I also know that I do feel more energy. The energy is just different. It's not that it's changed a whole lot. It's just amplified.
Well, there's more static in the air. We talked about that. It's getting colder,
Colder, drier.
and drier, and
Mhm.
that just helps feed them along and helps them get stronger. They've always been there, but now they have this extra edge. And then you're you're preconditioned to all the horror films again, and then everybody decorating their homes, and it puts you. Mindset for me, I learned so much about that with you, is so key with October. It really is. And I feel that fear causes people not to react the way they normally would to a situation if they were using a Ouija board or communication tool to communicate with the other side.
Right. And also, this is a time of year, and I'm going to put Wayne's question up or in a moment, where I think naturally people get more depressed this time of year because, the holidays perhaps coming up because the days are shorter, the nights are longer. So it can attract different things as well. So here's the comment question, and I'm interested in your opinion on it.
Wayne says, so which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do people get depressed because of the time of year, which in turn attracts dark entities, or do dark entities find them first, which causes depression?
I know they can amp up depression, those feelings.
Yeah. See, a scientist would start spitting out facts about the sun and vitamin D and how it affects depression. I, on the other hand, would say either or. People do get depressed when the sun goes down. It's a natural occurrence with their brain, but does something amplify it? Highly possible. We've seen it.
We have.
Yeah.
Also a good comment here.
Dolly says war is causing more lately. Well, yeah, the whole world is in uproar. It has been for the last few years when the big C happened. And I'm finding that people are really abrupt everywhere, and they're just so
angry and impatient.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really rare. It's rare to find somebody who's really friendly,
Right.
But
right. People are fed up, I think, with just a lot.
Yeah, but did it? That's a whole other show.
Here we go.
Bart. Yeah, Bart. I have met a few people who are channeling or have something attached to them, and they like it. They might come in the most unexpected times, but the person likes the attention and crisis of it. Ouch.
That's actually pretty interesting. You say that. I remember working with a family, probably about, oh my God, we're talking like 2008, maybe, a really long time ago. And they asked to have a clearing done. It was a human spirit. So we were able to move the human spirit off and the house was very, very calm and quiet. Within
Yeah.
about 2 months, I got a call because 'cause we'd like our spirit back. Why can't I just bring back a spirit? I mean, if they want to be there, they're more than capable of coming back if they so choose to, but isn't it funny how, I look at this comment and I'm thinking, it is really, interesting to me, I could see human spirits being missed. But I've run into on maybe 2 occasions people who had attachments. And one thing about entities is they really give you this feeling of power and that you're cared for and that you're loved when you're really not. When push comes to shove, you're being tricked into believing it. And when you remove the attachment, it's like they feel a sense of loss because they've been under control or they've been oppressed for so long, and always hearing that voice or always knowing that presence there, and after that it was just silence.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But like, well, no, and they end up back in the same situation because they're just used to the clutter in the mind, I guess. They're just used to the whole oppression part of it. So yes, I certainly do, Roger, but it's a middle name, which I can't say on the air because it's a family member still living. So, I mean, if there's another one out there, it's possible, but there's only one that I know off the top of my head. Dolly.
Yes, negative stuff doesn't have to make you depressed, but how you react is important. I know that deep down inside I'm very angry right now, but I do everything in my possible, like everything possible, to keep on the other side of it. I don't want to affect other people with it because I know what the ripple effect is, and it's not fair to anyone. I wish everybody would think that way. I think we'd have a lot happier people out there.
I think so, and we can't, unfortunately, we're not in control of everything that happens around us or to us, but we are in control of how we receive it and how we deal with it, how we react to it. And you have to pick your battles. Some things aren't worth it.
No,
It's not worth it. Be happy.
no,
Somebody wants to make you miserable. There's have no place in your life, none whatsoever.
no.
Uh,
At Michelle Roche just casually says it was a human spirit. She has the gift of discernment, or she wouldn't have been able to say that so easily.
Thank you. I truly believe that
Hi, Roger.
human spirit, they're people without bodies. I would be respectful. I don't treat them like, oh, you're a ghost. No, the people without bodies. It's the next level of their journey. It's very hard for me to look at a spirit like I guess it's just disembodied. And the person was a person at one time, and that person had a life and a family and personality, likes, dislikes, all of that. Um,
Hmm.
just a next level that maybe they just need a little move on. It's okay. You can do it. you know,
I like Wayne's comment.
it's
That
coming.
that is so true. Um, Nothing worse than when you say to someone, "Yeah, I've got nothing." No one is more disappointed than someone who has been told their house isn't actually haunted. Wayne Mallow said that, and I agree 100%.
It is, and this is, I think, where we get into investigations and naysayers. It's very hard. I can tell you there have been locations that have been open door policy to me through the years that I've either represented them if they're a public place, or the family has given me carte blanche on research because I've always respectful with the location, the current family, and the spirits involved. You can't in one night go someplace, and if you get no activity, say it's not haunted. It's like anything else, somebody breaks into my house, I'm not going to sit there and want to have a conversation with them. You're strangers to spirits, and you have to remember they're still people. You are a stranger. You have to build trust. You have to build a relationship. And if you can do that, then maybe, just maybe, you will start getting that, the activity you want. Even when I did events at Casa Loma, every night before an event, I would walk the halls and I would talk to, Sir Henry Pellick, because he was said to have been there, caught his voice on EVPs. And I would say, good evening, Sir Henry, glad, I want to let you know tonight, this is how many people we have. This is where the tour is going to start. I would treat him as though I was his guest.
You
And
were.
I would advise him of everything going
Yeah,
on.
you were. It was his house. I just want
Exactly.
to address Roger.
Yeah.
No, the only one I know is Paul. But I will think about it because my head's everywhere right now.
There we go.
But thank you.
There we go.
Wayne says the paranormal has become the new popularity badge. If you're haunted, then you're cool. If you're not, well, that makes you just plain old normal.
Maybe.
I really appreciate not being haunted, and I like it. I like it.
It's really strange because living in I grew up with a crap load of activity in a very active location, and things have always followed me. And being at the manor and living there, it's just like haunted in a different way because it had nothing to do with me. It was all about the house. So it was learning more about not being a haunted person. When I say, have like an attachment, basically, because that was the only thing in the house that I grew up in. But, coexisting with a whole other group of individuals and learning their likes, their dislikes, trying to remember tones. And it was just so helpful all the time. There's so many great stories that come out of that house. When we move here, we're like, it was so quiet. I remember saying to Wayne, listen. He goes, what? I'm like, exactly. Absolutely
Nothing.
nothing. It
Yeah.
was strange. It was
Sleepy
strange.
Hollow.
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
silence was just so, if it makes sense, the silence was deafening.
I think it's nice though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know because the manner is different. You had some. I mean, you had some crazies, and then but you had a lot of beautiful
Yeah.
history and spirits coming in and out and welcoming and everything, and it's nice. They become part of your family. But I don't think it's a bad thing when you walk into a silent house.
I
think
think
it's
we
great.
have to, you know, recognize the difference between a haunting and coexisting with spirit individuals that were there first, that had been there for over a century. Like they're living their lives, and it is different. It's just a different situation altogether. And now I understand when people would say, well, we want our spirit back, or some people say no, because I've always worked malevolent cases, or I've always, I very seldomly would work a benign, like a benign home, because there were a lot of people who could do that. Whereas a lot of people didn't want to or did not know how to deal with something a bit more malevolent, because you take chances all the time, and people didn't want to take those chances. And it takes a really good team to say, no, this is not my thing. So I would often refer those sort of calls to colleagues within those areas, to accommodate families who just wanted to get familiar with their spirit people. And they coexisted amazingly. And if they didn't know how to coexist, I would get an occasional call and say, okay, well, having an issue, and this is the issue. And then all it would take is acquainting the family with the spirit person. So, for example, let's say, Fred or George. Fred or George here used to sit in this room every day at 4 o'clock and listen to music or read a book or watch television. Or now, meanwhile, the current family has kids running rampant, and this is now a family room. And this is, so it's a matter of like, George just wants his hour every day. That's all. So then the family actually backed off, kept everybody out of that room for 1 hour every day, and all the activity stopped.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
Coexisting.
Get to know them, see what's what, and just figure that out,
Make sure they're not grounded.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic, you know. Um, okay, here we go. Chris has got a question.
How common is demonic infestation? I suspect it's very rare, but exaggerated by TV and other media.
Well, possession is actually what's extremely rare, believe it or not, is possession.
Less
Uh,
than 3%.
infestation is like an attachment, which usually starts with an invitation of some sort. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. Infestation is just when they get to that point where they start, like you go through that oppression, you know, where you're really, I always say it's like being under someone's thumb. But the infestation is when you start getting the scratching on the wall, let's say a lot of really loud activity, doors opening, closing, foul smells. Maybe some people get pushed, some people get scratched. Yeah,
Both.
right. So
Yeah. And it wasn't even mine.
it just sort of gets where the activity amplifies, I guess. So it's not so much
Mhm.
that that is rare, but the final stage of that, you know, is possession. And often, if it's a full possession, a real true possession, and Bishop James, I'm sure, I mean, he's talked about this also. And as rare as that is, the next stage after that is often death, suicide, murder, because the end game is the soul and the
Yeah,
release of the soul,
if they're
right?
not exercised, yeah.
Yeah,
No deliverance. Infestation, no. Again, like we talked about last week, they still require an invitation
exactly.
by the
Of
host.
some sort.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, like people don't realize it. But if you even just look up, there's 5 to 7 stages depending on, you know, the religious background or the belief system, right? Some believe 5, some believe 7, some believe more. It does that it goes from invitation to possession and death. Those are essentially your, you know, your stages. I
Yeah.
remember when Paranormal Activity came out. Oh my god, I got so many emails. Is this based on a true story? Is this real? Is this real? And I had to finally go see it because I was
Oh,
getting
the
so many
show, the
emails about it,
movie.
the show. And I
Oh,
said it's based on the stages of a full demonic attack, attachment, possession, but it was a made up story.
yeah, it's like
I think it was
Blair
very
Witch.
well done for what it was with such a low budget, and it was pretty well done, and I like that they had 2 endings. You know, the ending of just her disappearing and then, you know, or and then the ending of her killing somebody because it could have gone either way. So it was pretty well done considering, um, you know,
It's
what they had to work with.
one of my least favorite films.
Yeah, it wasn't my
Yeah.
favorite franchise by any means, but they did a good job with the slow, even the infestation, you know, like everything that she started going through as it amped up and how it started, you know, with the Ouija board, the party getting together and how
Yeah.
immediately things happened. And that's the invitation, right? Communicating. Um,
Yeah, the first one's the only one I watched, so I don't know. Preston says, I investigated 2 cases that led to the possession stage. One guy who got possessed didn't remember any of it, but his friend remembered it all. Said his friend talked in a weird language. Scary. Yeah, the tongues. That's one
right?
of the signs of possession. Speaking in tongues.
Speaking in tongues.
Yeah, eating bugs, they starve you, they want you to die. They will keep you from drinking water, they'll make you die of thirst, which is extremely
Lack of
painful.
sleep. They don't
They
let
keep
you
you
sleep.
awake. They drive you crazy. So you want to die.
I worked with a woman with a family, whose sister had messaged me, and she said, I know there's something wrong with my sister." And she was doing really erratic things, had 2 small children, did super erratic things, you know, like she would run laps, like for like which I mean, most people say like running laps isn't a big deal, but she ran laps.
It is if you
She
did it.
drove for 19 hours with her children in the car without stopping.
Oh,
I mean, it was a lot of erratic things. This is a woman who worked out every single day, and she was healthy. They had the, you know, the $1,000,000 family, you know, the little boy, the little girl, the big house, the business, everything, just everything. And she lost in 3 months, she was about 90 pounds, chain smoker, Didn't sleep, couldn't sleep at all. Insisted that the priest come in and bless the house, and would never let him in the house when he showed up. It was crazy. It took about 3 months to get everything straight and clear there. And I'm sure, and that started with a pendulum, by the way. The death of her mom used to use a pendulum, and she took her mother's pendulum, hoping to communicate with her mom, and what she got was something entirely different.
It's probably an attachment to the pendulum.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was full on. It was really full on. So I think with that being said, it was in and out, in and out, in and out, you know. So she would sit there, take a puff of a cigarette, drop it, grab another one, take a puff, drop it. And her eyes never left mine. And I just looked at her and I went, I never broke a stare from her. And I just talked 4 hours. She had me talking at the table, just 4 hours. And when I first arrived, she had her face stuck to the wall with a bowl of cereal like this, and food was like, the cereal was flying all over the place. I walked in the door very quietly, and her husband let me in. I says, "You're sort of the man of the house, so you're in charge. You're going to let me in with permission," to which she did. And she stopped like this, and she just put her head up, and I waited, and she spun around, went flying, and she rushed at me, goes, "Why are you here?" And I just smiled, and I said, "We're gonna have a little chat." That was the end of it. And I didn't break a sweat.
And you're gonna listen.
I did not break a sweat. And she was like right here. And I just looked at her and I went,
You can't.
I said, "Sit down."
Yeah. You can't break. You can't be weak at that point. That's why it's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. But 3 months later, and I had to insist, because of the entire situation with all of the erratic behavior. I insisted on, psychological assessments. So they got 2 for her. And I needed permission from her psychologist and psychiatrist, family doctor. I needed permission from everybody to work with her, which they all gave me as long as I never encouraged her to go off the medication. The medication, by the way, never worked because it obviously wasn't, schizophrenia, psychosis, anything like that.
Annalise Michelle again.
Yeah, see? So but that's the thing. But I never discouraged that. That wasn't my part of why I was there. I'm not a doctor. I am not a counselor. I've dabbled in counseling. I've taken, courses just to learn how to properly read body language, communicate with people. But I'm not a certified anything. My job was there. I was there to do one thing, and it was to try to understand why this family felt as though they were under the influence of something. And that's why I was there. Wasn't there to do anything else. And it was figured out. And at that point, she finally let the church in, and, her priest would come in and pray with her and things like that. That was her religious belief system. And that's what gave her strength. And that's what, started the road to her healing and this young family's healing. So it devastates families. And as we approach on this time of year, I think it's very important that people realize that you could end up in a place that could essentially be infested with things that could come back and attach to you. And I always say asylums and jails and places like that because, I remember we were asked to go and work with, do minor investigating of an asylum because they were looking at tearing it down. And they were filming there, and they just said, "Look, let's investigate it." And I did snap. I do have one photo, 2 if I can find it, that I'll share from that. But it was there like in the daytime. We were there like in the summer, 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock at night, taking pictures. All this activity was still going on, and we were there into the evening. So, the stuff that was there, if you're an everyday individual who doesn't even have much of it more than an interest in the paranormal, even just a mild interest,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know if something attaches to you
Hmm.
until it's too late? Even a human spirit can attach itself to you, right? So even that's possible.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think you always, I don't think you do know. I think you just react and you behave differently.
Mhm,
Other people around you might notice that you're different, and it
mhm,
depends on what it's attached to you.
mhm. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's the key is how, how do you know? I mean, aside from the traditional, smells and things like that. I mean, I have seen so many different scenarios. I've seen, one family we worked with, they had a house guest who they didn't realize was a hot and heavy dabbler of the occult and
Oof.
hardcore stuff. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Within a week of this person moving into the house, all hell literally broke loose in this house. When they finally asked this house guest to leave, they were starting to pick up the pieces of what was happening. We ended up coming in and we found um, jars of broken mirrors and urine, and some of it had, blood in it, and they were strategically placed in rooms that ended up being the most active rooms. So ceremonies were done to, you know, amplify all of this. And if you didn't know, they were put in places that were really hard to find. So some people really do, with serious intent, cause damage. you know?
Mm-hmm. It,
So I don't know. One second. This is a good question. Amelia, want to get it?
sure, of course. Chris asks, if thoughts create reality, then Jesus is real because billions of people, I believe, create that reality, right?
Dolly says, nope. Chris is perplexed and says, no.
And Dolly says, correct.
There's a whole other conversation going on in the chat room, people. Get over to the outer realm, you two.
Oh my God.
I know. So
Too funny.
I know. So yeah. So with that being said,
That's something you
um
have to work on your own, Chris.
well, sometimes I get what you're saying with the thoughts manifestation, Chris. I mean, look at tulpas, right? Tulpas, like Slender Man. Let's talk real quickly about Slender Man. I mean, he was
Yeah.
invented in a game room, a game chat room, and over
University student.
time, he was given so many different character traits and such a personality that people actually started having sightings of him all over the world.
It's the same thing as a cult effect.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that people who had nothing to do with him, who didn't even know he existed, were
Yeah.
having sightings of him in places that went in line with some of the behavior and characteristics that he was given. So I don't know, guys, chime in. What do you think about that? Wayne.
Wayne says, so, okay, so here's a thought. When I was in Catholic school, I was told that Jesus said that even if you have a bad thought is a sin. I didn't like the idea, but now if you think about it, the
Mm.
paranormal it could be dangerous. You could conjure things just by thinking about it. It's hard to control your thoughts though, right?
But doesn't it tell you, again, we go back to mindset. Doesn't it tell you how easy it is, how powerful we are as beings? If you can manifest your own reality, apparently, which you can, then that's pretty strong thought form. So if you can do that, then why limits? Whereas there's no limits. You can manifest all kinds of things. Is this where projecting comes in? psychokinesis, projection
Yeah.
energy. Poltergeist, poltergeist, noisy ghost is projected energy. So somewhere along the lines, that energy gets projected and ends up becoming a force to be reckoned with, building over time strength. What's that about?
Okay. Dolly says our minds fill in everything. We are all psychic. We hear it unconsciously. We are connected. Actually, we do not create, we recreate.
Okay. And Cece, hello.
Hi, Cece. How are you? Says, has there always been so many bad entities in our realm or on the earth, or has it amped up in recent years? Sorry.
Ooh, I think it's always been there personally. I think we just put more emphasis on it. Mind you, we have more people as
There's
well.
more paranormal shows changed everything too. The minute they started pouring on TV.
But we're also, I've been watching paranormal shows since like the 70s.
No, I mean the amount that are on. Like, you can sit on a channel and watch 24/7
We're
and
pretty
keep
flooded with
watching.
them.
That's what I mean. Like anytime something is like that in your face and it's constant, it's condition your mind. If you believe it, you're going to feel it. You're going to
But
create
also
your own.
remember, we're that, look at how many people we are now, right? Okay, this is funny. I have to put it up there, seriously.
Wayne says, I must be daft because I would be blowing out the walls in the shop with my projected energy. Well, my projector must be broken.
Hence my life, people. Hence my life.
Chris says, so then in every thought there is reality. Oh, that's the same one, isn't it? No, this is new. Yeah. So Jesus is real in one reality. Buddha is real in another reality. All of these realities exist all at once in different dimensions. Dolly says, in the third dimension, Jesus was a person.
Yep. There we go.
You are a person. Okay, kids.
Cece, I love this one too.
Stacey's a clown. Cece says, I've tried to manifest a 6-foot muscular intelligent guy in my life, and it sure didn't work.
Keep trying, Cece. Let us know if it works.
Yeah, pull off the motor and try again.
I know. Oh my God.
Sometimes you have to take the 5'8" one, and
it's too funny.
Be happy.
Okay, so I'm gonna show a few pictures. Okay, and this is pretty much, I'm just going to put them up there. Some of these are just pictures that people have sent. If it's something that I'm familiar with, I will let you know. Some of them, oh God, there's some good ones here, but I don't have permission to use them because they were from past cases and so on and so forth. So here's one that was sent, and allegedly, okay, it was taken in a high school up against a steel door. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this. I don't know how I can get this. So it's hold on. Copy. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. I think I might have this. Okay. All right, here we go. Much better. Okay. Let me know what you guys think. Up against a steel door, she's looking the other way. And then we've got this guy right here. You know, it's a school door. It's just a steel door.
No, it's definitely real.
And it looks like something is looking at her because she's this way. So I don't know. Thoughts? Yeah, feel free to chime in. I'm just putting them up.
Me?
No. Anybody. Anybody. I'm just going to show them as we go along because it's art. Well, it's a steel door. I know the individual, so I can assure you, not art, but interesting. It's definitely a picture, she says. Okay, I'll put Wayne's comment up while we're looking.
Okay. In this dimension, I was tricked into being a daft person. Let's go to Earth and be immortal. Wayne, it'll be fun, they said.
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny how many people who work in this field often will say they don't want to reincarnate.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm just going to put this over here. It's hard because I've got a whole picture file here that I don't want to just mess around with. So bear with me, peeps. This one was sent to me on a person who did a ghost tour that I did. It was emailed to me, and at the time, a colleague and I were doing the ghost tours. And this was a location at City Hall in Burlington, Ontario, in a courtyard that was said to have ley lines, a courtyard that was said to have a portal, and city staff would report seeing people in period clothing at any given time, even during the day. So here it is. This, I'm going to try to see if I can make it bigger. So bear with me.
I need to know what is that reflecting off of.
It rained that night. Obviously, everything is wet there.
Oh, this is a step. Okay.
Yeah. There just go. This apparently is a young boy. And he had little knickers, and that was it.
Small.
There. Might see it a little better
okay,
that
that's
way.
better. Yeah. That's better. It puts the size into perspective. Honestly, I think this is real.
Yeah.
I don't think that's and just the impressionism of it. You
like
know,
he's walking,
it's
like
movement.
he's pulling. Yeah.
And they got the photo in movement, and they weren't taking a picture of anything.
No. And this was sent to a friend at the time who worked at Cambridge University. And they would put a lot of photos and things like this through infrared technology that they had to try to see if there was something, if it was something like a camera strap, for example, or they could see through all of this. Yeah, he has a poor boy cap on.
He absolutely does.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Spanky from Little Rascals.
Yeah, see? So it's interesting. It came back with a question mark. So of course, being more of trying to give a scientific edge to it, if it came back with a question mark, it was something that they had no real explanation for. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So let me try to find you guys another one. Same ghost tour. Okay. I'm going to show you guys different pictures that were taken on this tour. And it was pretty wild, I have to say. And we ended up with this figure that showed up 2 different times, years apart. So let me just find it. Okay. So here it is. I'm going to try to bring this in over here. Oh, come back. There it is. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Okay. This was taken in, there was an area of the, of a place. It was just an old square that was there. It was a replica of an old British village. It wasn't anything else.
Jessica's gonna.
It was empty. Okay. It was a facade. So there was nothing in it. Facade, just like a movie. Empty building.
Tell Jessica to go to bed, Michelle.
Hmm?
Tell Jessica to go to bed.
Oh,
she got nightmares.
Jessica, go to bed. Auntie Amelia says go to bed.
Yeah.
So basically, the actual picture of this was one of my team members who was facing the other way. So she was looking at somebody else, and she was just slightly bent over. I'll try to grab the original picture, but this is what was in the window behind her. So let me try to.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm trying.
Why do I catch things like
Let me work. Let me work it. Let me work it. There.
Oh, just go night night. Oh
so it looks like a bit of a hooded, deformed figure.
Do you know what it reminds me of? The face reminds me of like an Irish elemental.
Yes. An Irish elemental.
Yes. There was a, oh my gosh, it's one of the taps groups way out there. I can't remember his name. And they went into this castle that was totally deteriorated and had this thing for it. And this stuff was happening in time with them. It was the most activity I've ever seen on a paranormal show.
See, that's crazy.
Ever. And it was like bang, bang, bang. They were an island. It just wasn't stopping. And
Yeah.
this is what this thing looked like when they zoomed in. It looked like that.
But yeah, you could see it's
I got
there's like
goosebumps.
shoulders here and
Yeah, like
Well,
I feel like I can connect with it through that photo, which is really bad.
I'm going to show you a different one, which seems to be the same variation, but one step farther, taken many years later. And
Mhm.
that, okay, here, this thing though, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, 1 minute. I'm just moving things around, guys, because this is in like one of my albums. Okay, this was taken on a tour in it was a vacant, it used to be a restaurant, but it was vacant. There was nobody in it at this time. It was completely empty. Same square. So the same, the outside of the interior was pretty, the odd thing was going on in there, but it's very, very expensive to rent space here. So a lot of places that went in, they were lucky to make it a year. If they didn't get the business, they closed. This was taken by just a tour attendee, just snapping pictures. Okay. All right, brace yourselves. And it's easier for me. Actually, this is a circled version. I can't find the other version, but here it is anyway. There. All right, Bubbles? Thoughts?
I know what that is. I'm not going to say it, but
Yeah.
I know you know I know what that is.
Yes, but here
Oh,
it is.
you can't miss it. That's not
It looks like
pareidolia.
freaking Skeletor. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
gonna
can't
say.
you can't miss that. That's not
No.
pareidolia. That's
No,
very,
this
very
was the
clear.
version that she sent me where she circled that. And then I said, please send me the original version. So let me see if I could find the original one while
And
this is there.
there's many more there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty active it's a pretty active space for sure. I'm just trying to see if I could find the original photo. Okay, here's the original. Okay, hold on.
This is a good time to be on YouTube. I'm saying, and like if you're listening to this on one of your streaming platforms, you're going to want to come to the Outer Realm YouTube page and watch this because you're missing all the photos.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, 1 minute. All right, I'm going to try this one now. So bear with me. It's taking me a bit of time, but it's hard to load them all as I have to bring them to my screen so you guys can see it. So here's the version without the circle. Requested a photo.
There's
You have
something
to
wrapped around
email
it.
it. I have to email it. Dolly. I can't grab it from here. I can't grab it from here unless you send me something. I can't grab it from here.
You see what's behind the figure?
Let me look. It's very distorted to me.
It's very ancient.
Let me tell you what's in front. This specific building had a large tree that was once a twig that the Native Canadian people put a gnarl in it to mark a trail. And it was one of only two believed to exist in the entire region. The people who ran this restaurant cut it down.
Oh no.
A living tree because the foliage blocked the upstairs window and they closed after that.
Tree down. You just trim the tree.
They did.
Trim it, don't chop it.
I know. So that was that. Okay. Bear with me. Still looking, guys. Still looking. I do have other ones. Now here's one. Remember I told you about the asylum that we went to. Okay. Now this here, hold on, let me just go in there, have a look-see. This was taken at about 4:00 in the afternoon, and no flash, no sunny, nothing.
Oh,
I personally took this picture, so I want your thoughts on it. I've never showed this picture, just family, friends, that sort of thing. So, okay, let me just try to, let me bump. The asylum was empty, abandoned.
mm,
Hold on. There. What do you think?
looks human.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of
Really,
human spirits in that place. A
again,
lot
no
of malevolent ones
pareidolia.
too.
Yeah, no pareidolia in this one either.
Yeah, no. That's the only thing there. Like the only thing there. And at the time this was taken, there were drums playing somewhere in that building. We can't substantiate. The whole group was with us. Film crew was with us. But we don't know. It was a big place, right? Anybody could be anywhere. So we didn't really think much of it. But there were like drums, almost like ceremonial. And snapped a picture because I just go around, I snap pictures of everything, and then I go over them afterwards to see if there's anything there. And this stuck out like a sore thumb. So I was just kind of like, oh, all right then. So there's that. I'm just grabbing. Bear with me because I have another skelly face to show you guys. And this was sent by a person who I used to consider a friend. And yeah, well, used to. There's a key right there, right? Let me just find it.
Oh my God.
I know.
If you're in Michelle's circle, you already know who she's talking about because she keeps her circle very tiny.
Yeah. Well, one second. Where is this thing? Is this here? Nope. Because I find it interesting how many of these things just keep showing up. And that to me was like, what the hell?
I think
So,
what's important when you're looking at photos like this for people who are watching, what's important is that Michelle doesn't suggest anything. She asks you what you see. When it becomes suggestive, like when you hear on these paranormal shows, EVPs that are played 3 times, by the 3rd time they play it for you, you believe that it is what they say because they've already told you what's being said. Here, Michelle is asking you, what do you see? So if you can definitively see a person in that is a clean observation. It's not tarnished by any suggestion. If that makes sense. I need coffee. I've had 3 espressos and a coffee, and I'm like still blah, 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 verbal diarrhea tonight.
blah, 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 blah. I know.
Oh my gosh, right?
Okay, I'm still looking for this one.
Mm-hmm.
But while I'm looking for it, I'll put this one up just to show you guys. And again, guys, this was sent to me. I don't know, photos get sent to me and I get permission to use them. Those are the ones I show. I don't show anything that I don't have permission to use. So here we go. I circled it because I wanted to be sure you saw it so you could give your actual opinion on it.
This is creepy AF. That's all I'm saying. I remember this photo.
I don't know. I was just sort of like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, I remember when you sent that to me. That's creepy AF.
1 second. I'm getting warmer. I'm just saying, I'm getting warmer. I'm just really trying to figure out where this other one was like pretty darn good. And I'm like, where the hell is it? Oh, okay. That's interesting. We'll put that one down too there. I don't know. Okay.
Child was snoring.
I know that place. Okay. Stop screen. There we go. Stop screen. Okay. I'm just fine. I have to stop a screen to be able to bring up another picture. So bear with me, please. Okay. Okay. So now I can keep looking. You want to do a station ID? Will I look for this? Bubbles?
Yeah, sorry. I'm telling them to be quiet downstairs because I can hear them.
Oh,
I can hear you.
I can
That's
hear
saying
you. That is making
that's
too much
saying
damn
it
noise.
nicely.
Yeah.
What a night. We're having an amazing open mic night tonight. And you are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 105.3 and 107.7 FM radio, and as well as the Roku channel that we stream live and archive. So if you're watching us from Roku, welcome, welcome. Please share us with all your friends. Tonight, our guest is you. We're having discussions. It's spooky month. And Michelle right now is sharing some paranormal photos with us. So if you are listening, tuning in, it's audible, you might want to go to visual instead of audio and come to the Outer Realms YouTube channel so that you can participate and make your guesses as well with these photos. They're quite interesting and pretty impressive captures here. If you're just tuning in, don't worry about it. Again, you can stream our archives on any platform. And again, you're going to want to go to YouTube. We're having a few issues with
Facebook.
Yeah.
We sure are.
I don't even want to say it out loud because I feel like I'm putting it out into the universe and it's going to continue. So remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're participating with the photos right now, you are watching us on YouTube. And if this is a record and you're watching this recorded, I have verbal diarrhea, by the way. You please click like and subscribe. This way you don't miss a thing, and click those notifications so you don't miss the show in case you do miss the links and think that we're not on. We are on live every Wednesday and Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. To the wonderful people at Folgers, we give a shout out and thank you for your continued support in sponsoring our show. We deeply appreciate and thank you. Our fabulous banner and promo media comes to us from the incredible artist Steve McGinnis, horror illustrator, and Steve creates anything. He does commission pieces, anything that you need to be done, he can do. He's a fabulous artist. He can be found on Facebook. Loving our intro because we do. And right now, he's dropping music everywhere. Who's that? Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Stream on any platform. You can find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. And I know for a fact he was dropping album covers and videos today. So seek him out. His music is incredible. And if you want to get ready for Halloween and you want to be the coolest one on the block, Dr. Snick's the one that you want. So again, don't forget, if you're watching us or listening to us anywhere, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're on SoundCloud. Make sure you click follow on Spotify. Make sure this way you don't miss any of the programs. There are so many on UPRN, and they're all fabulous. You don't want to miss a thing.
All righty. Thank you, Bubbly Boo. So that last one we showed, Wayne did confirm it was taken at a renovation during the old servant staircase at the manor. There we go. Okay. Now here's the one I was looking for. Then Dolly sent what we're going to put up. Bam. So this one right here.
That looks alien.
I know, peeps. Thoughts? Thoughts?
I see alien in that.
Do you see an alien in that one? I see kind of like Scully, but you're right. It could be an alien.
No, I see a gray.
Oh, very, very
I don't know
possible.
what it is, but I do. That's what I'm seeing from here. But it all depends. See,
we've cleared this place, so.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is it's hard because I don't know if that's a forehead or if it's the movement of, it looks like.
There was nobody in the mirror. It
No.
was taken from the actual photo. It was a different, like it was taken from behind. The actual whole photo, it's like this is a mirror that's way across the room.
It's hard for me because, like I said, I don't know if the reflection of the mirror is creating that forehead for me.
Right.
So I would have to look at that on my phone. But for me, that's what it appears to be from here, if that forehead is actually there.
Right.
If not, then it's a whole other thing.
Okay. So now Dolly, I'm going to put up, Dolly sent one. So Dolly, I'm going to try to go back in. And Mike had a question about a story that I will get back to as well. So right now we'll put this one up. And okay. So Dolly, let me find Skeletor. I cannot find your comment. Looks like me, she says. Okay, I'm going to put this up. Dolly, can you put down what this is again? Can you let me know what this is? Pretty cool. Looks like an individual. You can see the nose, you can see the eyes, right? The eyes very close together, the nose, cheekbones is what I see.
I can see the mouth and the chin too.
Yeah, call me crazy. Okay.
And you know, I was just going to say it's almost like he's trying to look through a veil. And Dolly said spirit photo my friend took when I asked for my brother.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Right. Dolly. Oh, spirit photo. Okay.
Yeah, does it resemble him, Dolly?
Okay. When I asked for my brother. Wow. Does it resemble your brother? Yeah, I have to say.
Well, the mouth is there. You're just seeing a dark spot.
Yeah,
the chin is there. Yeah, Janie, you caught it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there.
The chin. Yeah, I think it's right down here for sure. Very, very cool. I love it. Anybody's got pictures? I've got the email up here if you want to send some. Okay, I want to show a picture that was taken from a guest who stayed at the manor. I will look for that one. In the meantime, there's all kinds of stuff that even Wayne would have experiences here. Hold on. There it is. Okay, 1 minute. One day, he took a selfie at one point, and I will put both of them down. 1 second. Where is it? Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Bear with me, people. I'm doing my best. Okay, we'll put this one on next because that's just like a magnified version of this. Okay. So for people, this is kind of like an Orby thing, and I don't often put them up. There's just so much, controversy with them. So this is Wayne going back, I don't know, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah. That's got a face in it.
Yeah.
All of Wayne's orbs have something in them, though. None of his are controversial. None of them to me are anything you have to question. I mean, just look.
Yeah, it's interesting. It almost looks like there's a face. See, right here, you have the eyes, sort of a nose, mouth, chin area. The question is, in this little face we see here, who is it? Right?
See, in that, I would question what was Wayne doing at the time? What was he thinking? Was he talking to anyone? Because Wayne, like me, talks to himself. What was the conversation? What were the thoughts? Because he could have manifested that. He could have brought and invited that in. Not my fault. Please, everybody, forgive me tonight. Honest to God, I promise I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
I'm just, oh my
God. I know. Crazy though, right? So I don't know. There's really a lot of different pictures, but this one was a picture that was, I'm just looking for, that was sent to him. A lot of people at one time, the house used to be a B&B, and people would come and stay at the house, and somebody captured this, which is just pretty benign, okay, there we go. So, and we did have spirit residents that resembled this individual. And here, and here. God, lots of steps, man. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go.
I'm going to send
this
you
looks, one. I don't know. You guys can chime in. We know this is the old servants' quarters, and we know that there were children in the manor, and I don't mean I mean teeny, teeny, tiny. It would have been a young, maybe pre-adolescent girl. A lot of the mediums had picked up on her before, and this was just taken, you know, before they left the building and sent it in afterwards. Wayne, can you maybe want to chime in on that story? But it just looks like a delicate face here.
Mm-hmm.
And has not been debunked to this point. So it's there. And
Yeah, that's a very tiny, petite kind of face.
yeah. So that's that. And
this is upsetting. I'm going to find a photo and send it before we. And
yeah.
you've seen it. Jojo has seen it.
Okay.
I'd love to hear from everyone. I will tell you a little bit more about it as soon as I catch it, because unfortunately it's in
I can take yours off of Messenger even. That's not too bad. So
okay, I'll send it to you email. It's not email. It's not a big deal.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Because I have the Outer Realm like right.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
And it's
okay. So here's one last picture that I will show, and this one here.
Did it send?
This one here is from, again, Wayne at the Manor. And this is a close-up. Okay. This is a close-up. This is not the full photo. Right there. This is a bedpost right here. He took a selfie because he heard something behind him. Here's the bedpost, and here is something else.
Wow.
Right here.
Full figure.
A figure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Wayne says, as to the last picture, did you want to get that?
Yeah, Wayne says many people who stayed in that room often would tell me about seeing a little girl looking out the window in the morning. Some people had her hold their hand and show them around the house. Wow. Yeah. I love that.
There's a photo actually of, I think it's Melissa from the team, and something had her hand. Her hand was down, and there's a little. You could see it. Yeah.
Cute. So, I'm so jealous.
Yeah. So that's that is that. So okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting picture. Let me bring it up. Okay, put this down over here. Put this down over here. I move it over here, and over here, and over here.
And I'm going to tell you when I first took it, someone from MUFON actually looked at it, and this was before I knew Joe.
Right.
They expanded it, and I didn't know this was in the picture till a few years after. Versace's trying to get my attention because I was actually reading a book. I know. I was actually reading a book.
I'm just there.
For an upcoming show with Bobby Brown at the time. So of course that's all legal. So you have to be accurate and everything. And I'm the one that reads, he isn't. So anyways, I was reading and I had to get this thing done in like 3 days. There is no light on behind me. It's actually the opposite side of the TV, and that's the TV screen.
Mm.
And if you zoom in, you see more than one.
Okay, hold on. Let me zoom in.
But I'd love to hear what everybody thinks.
Okay.
But I didn't think anything of it. Now remember,
right.
Look at all the reflections of those lights and up there. I do not have any light directly across from that screen.
Interesting.
The light is on the opposite side of the room, which wouldn't reflect on there at all.
Right.
Because it's the fireplace that's up. It's nowhere at that level. So just saying, that's what I thought when I saw it. Wait, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, bubble. Oh no, exactly. But yeah, it was really freaking. And if you move it over to where my shades are in the window,
mm-hmm.
There is a big white.
Okay, 1 minute.
I want to say it's an orb because I
pretty
much know my my home.
I'm gonna have to back up then a bit to see.
Yes.
Okay,
Now
so
you
which way
see
am
it
I
over
going?
Versace?
Oh, right here.
I have solid shades. There are no holes in them. They're solid. They're blackout
Okay,
shades
I'm
there.
just trying to enlarge it for
So you
everybody.
can see that.
Well,
This is
Versace
not.
is just like lounging.
Well, I'm taking a
Right.
picture. He's sitting on top of me. I'm taking a picture of him, and all
Right.
this other stuff is in the background, and never noticed it until I went to expand it
Yeah.
to print him. See, and Dolly says light being real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that above him. That would mean that the size of that would mean that I have a palm size hole in my blind, and this is at night. I would have to have spotlights on my house.
Right. Right.
That's not dust. That's not anything. That's huge.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it.
I can show you pictures I took before and pictures I took after from that
Yeah.
roll because they're all dated and there's nothing in the lens. So that's
I love
creating that.
that's what I love about it is when
Yeah.
you can look at something and you just and it leaves you a question mark. It leaves you wanting to know more. So these are just some examples of there's so many more, but I mean we could do a show, just on this, which is great for our video people, but not so great for our audio
Yeah.
people.
And hopefully I'll speak better then.
Yeah, but I'm hoping those who listen to the audio archives will go over to any of the network YouTube channels, UFO Paranormal and The Outer Realm. Well, I have it under Michelle Desrochers at The Outer Realm because people have always known Michelle Desrochers, and I added The Outer Realm because it became a backup account since we had a lot of issues with the network account going down. We lost a lot of archives, so this one
Over
kind of covers
200.
both.
Yeah,
But
over 200.
yeah, but I find it just so fascinating. I've always found spirit photography to be really interesting, how they could just so easily come out and you can catch it on camera. And then it makes you wonder how many people get those really dark photos and they don't, until you lighten them, you don't really know that there's anything in there at all, which is kind of cool.
I was just taking a picture of the dog.
Yeah,
Because he was
yeah.
literally all over me because the book that I was reading was in my phone. I was reading it
Right.
on the Kindle on my phone.
Right.
So I took a picture of him because he's upside down, like, come on, rub my belly.
Right.
It's about me. It's not about you, Mom. It was like one of those moments, and then didn't see it till a couple years later.
I know. I find all kinds of stuff that's been there for 2
Yeah.
years. I'm like, what is this?
You're like, wait a minute. When you enlarge a photo because you want you want to print it or whatever, that's when I see things.
Right.
And
right.
I'm finding more and more. I mean, I do have the one of the back of my house, which we've shared before.
Right.
Which has the face, and you could clearly see the soldier's face from here to here.
Yes. I know. It's very cool. That one is also very cool.
What's creepy is when I drove into the driveway, because I was taking a picture of the supermoon, and you know what it looks like on an iPhone 5. It's like this big.
I remember.
So I was driving into the driveway, purposely didn't have any lights on, took a picture of the moon, saw this little white orb over the fence.
Right.
Then went into the backyard. At the time, I was a naughty girl and I used to smoke, so I went to have a cigarette, coffee, and I'm taking a picture. And then I see the same thing in the backyard. Now, I don't have the person that lives next door to me lives at the front of the property, not the back, is completely black at the time. There's no lights on that side at the time.
Right.
It was just homes, but they were either really far back or forward. I'm kind of in the middle of the homes there. There's very few houses here. So there isn't a light. Then when you expand it, anyone who sees it is like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that one I didn't like. Because then he and I had it out one night. So yeah.
Right. So we're slowly getting to the top of the hour. If we can get this question. Bubbles.
Sure. Oh, I'm looking for it over there. I am so sorry. Like, I owe you a dinner. I owe you like 10 pounds of jelly beans tonight. I am so sorry. Oh my God, Mike. Mike's talking to you. He says, I joined you on a tour years ago and you hinted at a story in the underground tunnel leading to the carriage house, something to do with a horse. Can you share that story? Thanks.
Yes, this was at an event that I had done, and it had a really huge 800-foot tunnel that went to the carriage house. It was a castle, and they don't like to really talk about the ghost, so I don't want to just publicly blab it off. But it was a story that was kept very quiet by staff. This allowed them to see, who the more intuitive people were that could pick up on the story and those who weren't. The night that I shared this story was because we had a guest on the tour who picked it up perfectly. And the story went that there was a guest staying at the house. And this tunnel, please bear in mind, it was a big tunnel, but it was not a type of tunnel where you could have a big horse in it, especially somebody riding it. But it happened. It happened when a guest stayed on the estate, got hold of one of the horses, and went into the tunnel on the horse, bearing in mind at the other end of the tunnel, you would have surfaced inside the main house. So, can I tell you how that went? Anyway, the horse freaked out, and the man was ejected, killed. So it was a type of story that was, let's just say, kept very quiet because of the position, the family's position in society at that time. But very fascinating story. And people often will hear a residual of a horse, like just neighing and the galloping of hoof prints.
How cool.
I know, it was crazy, but that was yes, yes. And of course, there was a strong man, strong man, handyman, who was very aggressive in there, but he was the strong arm of the family. So probably would have been his job to make the problem go away.
He's like,
And it's probably the best way that
we
can leave that one,
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So, it's amazing, but we made it, and it's just we were so glad that we were able to do one more of these before Halloween, because this is a type of story I love. I mean, we showed some pictures, we were able to, bounce some ideas around, and we really love that. We really love doing that. Again, I have to remind everybody that on October 31st from 8 until 10 or 11, it goes. I tend to go for quite a while. But come on and check out the United Public Radio hosts. People are going to be dropping in and out. It's not like everybody will be there the entire time. Hopefully all the hosts can make it. I know Amelia and I will be there, and we'll have quite a few people just chiming in, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you can come in, pose some questions.
Dress up.
Huh?
I said they can dress up. We can't see you. You can dress up.
There you go. That would be fun. Yeah. Right. So this is, by the way, up until that point, if any of the hosts are listening, you got to play this promo. Just saying. You're welcome, Mike. I have something to say. I'm not going to say it. Well, if it's not nice, no, don't. if it's nice, feel free.
Yeah, put it in caps.
Man, we've had a day.
Put it in caps, even, Chris.
I had traffic today. Can I tell you, I get ugly and really had hardcore traffic. We will be there. Yay!
Oh, good. We'll see you then.
That will be fun. That will be fun. So, of course, we've come to the end of another great segment. Dolly, it's already on the soundboard, so you will definitely find it. Yep, Bart, it's already on the soundboard. It's the one I played at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to play it again in a few minutes. So if you go to where all the sound is and the intros and so on, you go way down to the bottom, you will see it, and it will be there. So, so guys, we are just always so happy to have these type of shows with you guys. We love having you in the chat room. We love interacting with you. You have great questions, great comments, and you just make it that much more fun. You really do. We do more of these because of all of you guys. Tomorrow night, we have a brand new guest on, and I know all of our UFO people are going to love this, I think. I know you'll tune in, aka Dolly. So, her name is Karen Wilkinson. She's going to be talking about her book called Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest. So, what is it about? She will share the chronicle of her life experiences, but will also provide her insights into the activities and motives of extraterrestrial beings. She will delve into the reasons behind their actions, the challenges they encounter, and the intricate web of deceit they weave in their interactions with humanity. I know.
I
It's
didn't
good.
miss it.
It's I know. It's going to be, we a lot of people have a whole lot of different experiences with extraterrestrials. Some people have better experiences than other people. So it'll be interesting to see what this is all about. I'm extremely curious as to what she has to say because they're based on her experiences
I know.
and how she researched from that standpoint.
That's
I know.
exciting. Give
I
her my
know.
regrets, please. That is exciting. We're gonna have to listen to that. She's very
Perspective.
interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So I think it'll be awesome, just to hear what she's got to say for sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, we're going to leave you with this, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.